One of the biggest things to consider is how assets will be divided. This includes everything from property to retirement accounts. It's crucial, to understand the process and ensure a fair split of assets for both parties. Think about what you own, what it's worth, and how it will impact your financial future. All good advice. That's what I wrote down as number one, asset division. That is part of the overall decision making you have to make as part of your divorce process. So obviously, you're going to look at your asset division, and it can be as simple as drawing a line down the middle of a notepad and saying, "Here's my, here's what we have, here's what they're worth, and let's figure out what's fair." Keep in mind, fair doesn't always mean 50-50. In fact, I can't tell you the last settlement agreement I put together where the division of assets and debts was 50-50, or honestly anywhere close to it. Most of our settlement agreements regarding division of assets is each keep their own, even though they're offset. They'll make other changes. Maybe the 401ks are more or less, and maybe if they're selling a house, maybe they'll offset that a little bit by giving a little bit more equity to offset that. But for the most part, people are keeping their own assets and debts. They're keeping their own vehicle. Maybe one vehicle is worth more than the other. So that level of fairness is completely in the eye of the beholder, of you guys, and doesn't have to be numerically. That what I want to say from a dollar amount perspective does not have to be equal and or fair in a dollar situation. I can give you an example of a spouse who it was more important that she kept the house and her 3 kids in it than splitting up her spouse's pension and deferred comp. And the value of his pension and deferred comp was at least $100,000 more than the equity in the home. And she did not care. She said, "Tim, I get it. He can keep it. I know I'm walking away from $100,000, but if, or half of the 100,000, so 50,000, because that would be divided." But she said, "Look, if I say I want his pension and his deferred compensation, then we have to sell the house because we have to split the equity. And it's more important. $50,000, keeping the kids in the house is more important than $50,000." And she wasn't like, her arm wasn't being twisted. It was just a matter of fact that if they wanted to divide that asset, that they're going to have to sell the house because they needed the equity from it, or he needed the equity from it if they were going to make that fair in their mind.